Hello there everyone, welcome back to Press for Truth TV. Today is Monday, May the 21st, 2012. Hope everyone had a great weekend. So many things to cover today. A lot of things been going on in the past few days over the weekend in regards to the ramping up of the police state all over the world. Namely, our first story is coming out of Quebec. The student protests in Montreal have continued to escalate, more clashes with the police this weekend. And this is mainly due to a new piece of legislation that was just passed on Friday. An extremely fascist piece of legislation. Some are calling more draconian than the War Measures Act of the 1970s, which also came out of Quebec. And under Bill 78, it says that any protests consisting of more than 50 people, any kind of a demonstration with more than 50 people, they will have to notify the police beforehand, a full 8 hours beforehand, of where the protests will be, the duration of the protests, any marching routes that are planned. And if anybody is found in violation of this new law, they could be faced with charges and fines anywhere between $1,000 and $125,000. This, of course, just amounts to the criminalization of dissent. What they're attempting to do there is to crack down on the freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, and the right for people to protest and have their message heard. Now, they've already made it illegal to wear masks during protests in Montreal, and what did that do? That basically resulted in hundreds, if not thousands, of people taken to the streets wearing masks in complete defiance of the government. So now with this new piece of legislation, there's no doubt we're going to see an escalation in the protests there in Montreal, Quebec over the coming days and weeks. And already some of the things that I've been seeing online over the past few days have been mind-boggling, really. In the interest of time, I'll just put links to some of these clips that I've witnessed. I'll put them in the description. We've seen things like Quebec police officers pepper spraying innocent bystanders who are literally just standing there doing nothing. In one circumstance, there was a group of bar patrons who were just sitting on a patio, and they were completely ransacked by a group of police who pepper sprayed all of them. And I'll put links in the description to these videos so you can check them out for yourself. But as I said, we're going to want to keep a close eye on this one over the next few days in the face of this new law, which, as I said, amounts to the criminalization of dissent. And other police state news going on over the weekend is, of course, the NATO summit that is being held in downtown Chicago this weekend. And in case you didn't know, our good friend Luke Rudkowski of We Are Change has been live streaming the entire event through his Ustream channel, which can be found at ustream.com/wearechange. That's U like the letter U, ustream.com/wearechange. I'll put a link to that in the description as well. And Luke's really been on the front lines of this one, documenting the protests right from the beginning. He's documented a lot of cases of police brutality, the Chicago Police Department clubbing protesters over their heads with their wooden batons. Luke's already interviewed a number of people who are battered and bloodied, and this is all being made available at his Ustream channel, and he'll get the footage up on his YouTube channel as soon as he can, which is youtube.com/wearechange. And so, as Luke's been documenting this entire thing through the Ustream, which, by the way, I'm starting to feel is an incredible tool. This is the future of independent journalism. This is the future of citizen-based journalism, where you can live stream these kinds of events in real time. And it's something I'm very interested in and that I'm currently looking into myself. I think back to the G20 summit here in Toronto. If I had the ability to stream live, it not only provides live on-the-ground coverage in real time, but it also serves to protect the journalists. Because if I had a live stream camera hooked up to me while I was walking around, it serves as a form of protection because, if I had the eyes and ears of thousands of viewers watching live, I would certainly feel protected against the police. And so Luke had the same thing going on with him over the weekend in Chicago. So after hours and hours and hours of exhausting live coverage, late in the evening, Luke signed off of his live broadcast and said, "We're going to head back to our apartment now, get some sleep, and get ready to begin streaming again tomorrow." And just as he signed off, not too much longer after that, their car was surrounded by around 8 SUV police cars, some unmarked, and guns were drawn. Luke and the other journalists who were with him were pulled from the car, handcuffed. The car was raided and ransacked, searched, and they eventually had to let them go because nothing illegal was found. And the police claimed that the car matched the description of another car that they were looking for. However, considering who Luke is and what he's been doing, it is more likely that this was an intimidation tactic by the Chicago police to try to once again silence citizen journalism. So I'll put a link to that one in the description as well. And if you get a chance to tune into his live stream, he may be broadcasting again today, so you can check that out live as well. And again, this is the future of independent-based journalism. So it's fantastic work that Luke's been doing there, and we have to hold the police accountable for these types of things. And the best way to do that is like what Luke did. As soon as they got pulled over, they managed to hit record and capture all of this, the majority of it, on film. And that's being made available to his YouTube channel. I'll put a link to that in the description. But certainly that's the best way to hold the police accountable for their actions in these kind of circumstances. Which brings us to our next story, is that here in Canada, just 2 years later now, after the G20 summit in Toronto, some police officers are now looking like they're going to have to be held accountable for their actions. Here is an article that just came out from the CBC recently. G20 charges coming against Toronto police commanders. A handful of senior Toronto police commanders are expected to be charged in the coming weeks for a variety of misconduct offenses over their leadership at the G20 summit in June 2010, CBC News has learned. The charges are in addition to 28 frontline officers slated to have disciplinary hearings for a range of misconduct offenses, including unlawful arrests and use of excessive or unnecessary force against prisoners. The details of charges come on the heels of a report released Wednesday by Ontario's top civilian complaints watchdog, Gary McNeely, head of the Office of the Independent Police Review Director. He concluded in a systematic review of the G20 in Toronto that police leaders were poorly prepared and launched a crackdown that led to illegal mass arrests, arbitrary searches, and unlawful detentions of more than 1,000 largely peaceful protesters and bystanders. McNeely is recommending charges to be laid against about half a dozen senior officers. Now, of course, all of these atrocities were documented in our 2-hour feature-length film, Into the Fire. So if you have not yet seen that film, you can see some of these things with your own eyes. The footage speaks for itself. So I'd certainly recommend checking out that film, and I'll put a link in the description. And so we'll continue to keep up on this one as it develops. Again, this just came out, so some of these things are going to be going on in the next few days, and we'll have a more detailed report about these post G20 charges that are going to be laid against some Toronto police officers. So again, it's a little bit of hope that we know that people will be held accountable. Sometimes it takes time, maybe even a few years, as in the case with here in Toronto. But it's nice to know that justice can be served. And last but not least, guys, as you're already probably well aware, last week I announced that Press for Truth wants to head down to Chantilly, Virginia, to document the Bilderberg conference at the end of the month. And so I set up a chip-in widget at both my websites, pressfortruth.ca and pressfortruth.tv. And I want to thank everyone who has contributed so far to the chip-in. Without you, we just can't do this work. So thank you so much for everybody who has donated. And we're very, very close to our goal. So I'm going to go ahead and book the trip now. So it is official. We will be there to document the very secretive Bilderberg conference at the end of the month. And as I said, we haven't quite reached our goal yet. So if you want to contribute to helping send us down there to cover that event, you can do that as well at the chip-in widget located on both of my websites. And anyways, guys, that is it for today. Please take the time to check out all the links in the description. And that's all for today. Thank you once again for tuning in, and I'll see you right back here tomorrow at pressfortruth.tv.